please tell us, what according to you makes Indian handloom so special?
See, it's all connected. All the aspects of Indian civilizational heritage are interconnected. Handlooms are very special because handlooms are the original make in India product. So if you go back to the Sindhu Saraswati civilization days, and if you go back to the excavations of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, there have been scraps of cotton found there, which earlier was believed that it was about 3,500 to 5,000 years ago. But now recent excavations by Deccan College at Rakhigarhi believe that the time span of the Sindhu Saraswati civilization goes back by about 2,000 to 2,500 years. So you would say that these artifacts are about 5,000 to 6,000 BCE, which means they are about 7,000 years old. So 7,000 years ago, our ancestors not only did not know how to cultivate cotton, they obviously knew it. They knew how to spin cotton into yarn. They had rudimentary looms because they have found many spindles and bobbins in those excavation sites. So they knew how to weave that yarn. And not only that, they also knew how to color that yarn and use mordants to fix the color, because there have been scraps of cotton found attached to a vase in Harappa, which has been dyed red using madder or manjishta, which is a dye that India uses even today to color textiles. So we have a living tradition, and it is pretty much followed, again, despite so much of disruptions, so many invasions, so many economic upheavals, so many religious upheavals in the country. This tradition of handloom weaving has survived in India, and that in itself is really a miracle. So if you go to Ajanta today and if you see those beautiful wall paintings, and many of these have, beautiful paintings of the textiles that the figures are wearing. And there are two bodhisattvas there. One is a Padmapani bodhisattva and one is a Vajrapani bodhisattva. And both of them are wearing what is known as Kattivastra, a cloth around their waist. And on that cloth, you can very clearly see ikat motifs. Ikat is a fabric where the yarn is tied and dyed before it's woven, and then afterwards it's woven according to the motif that it's tied and dyed with. So that same pattern that you see, and these scales are 200 CE, almost 1,800 years old. And you see the same pattern with the same color schemes being woven even today in a village in Odisha. And when you actually go and see it being woven and you juxtapose it in your mind against the painting that you have seen, which belongs to 200 CE in Ajanta, you actually get goose pimples. I got goose pimples. That this is a tradition that has survived intact for 1,800 years. Even now, today, when the whole world is talking about slow fashion, the whole world is talking about sustainability, using less resources, producing less, consuming less, what can be more sustainable and what can be more slow fashion than handloom cloth? And you can use handloom cloth for everything. It's a myth saying that handloom cloth can be used only in saris. You can stitch shirts out of handloom also. You can have towels of handloom also. You can have bed sheets of handlooms also. You can have home linen of handloom also. But it is a craft that is going to sustain us in the future as well. If you go to European countries and if you go to the US today and if you go and visit their handicraft villages, you'll find there one woman who has set up a loom and who is learning to weave. And those weaves are, let me tell you, extremely rudimentary, and they lack the finesse that Indian, even the most basic, most coarse Indian handlooms are better than those weaves. But because those are niche and handmade and handcrafted things, the cost there is astronomical. So for a scarf which is hand woven, you can expect to pay like $2,000, which is ridiculous. But that is the value they pay for handmade things. And in India, because we have handmade things, we do not realize the worth of it. But the whole future belongs to slow fashion. The whole future belongs to using less resources, and there can be nothing that is more in line with this kind of thinking than Indian handlooms, which is why Indian handlooms are really, really important. Also, Indian handloom sector employs the second largest number of people in India after agriculture. And we only talk about weavers when you talk about handloom cloth. But when a cloth, when 1 meter cloth is woven on a handloom, there are efforts of at least 15 people that go behind it, right from the farmer who grows the cotton, or the person who collects the silk cocoons from the forest, to somebody who spins yarn from it, to somebody who colors it, to somebody who sets up the loom, to somebody who weaves, to somebody who finishes the garment, to somebody who decides the motifs, to somebody who sells it in the market, and then finally it comes to you. And it is this chain of 15 people that get work and that get money because of that 1 meter of hand woven cloth. So how can it not be important? And this is just the economic aspect of it. Now let's talk about the spiritual aspect of it. If we look at the motifs that are seen in the Indian textiles, and they're very, very sublime, very beautiful motifs, you will see that all these motifs have meaning. They're not just functional. They're not just there to make the textile look good. They have a spiritual connection, they have a connection with nature around it, and they have been thought of because of a certain reason. So there is deep symbolism. So for example, a bridal paitani in Maharashtra is traditionally supposed to have a motif of parrots. Why parrots? Because parrots are the vahana of Kamadeva. So when you are getting married, you are obviously taking a vow to say, to the husband and wife are supposed to take a vow saying that they'll walk in the matters of artha, kama and moksha, artha, kama and dharma together, not moksha. So because of that, because you are she's and the bride is entering the world of kama, she's entering the world of desire, she's supposed to have that parrot on her sari, on her bridal sari, as a symbolic gesture. That is why you are supposed to have parrots. So every motive has a meaning like that. Every motive has some kind of spiritual significance. So everything is interconnected. Religion cannot be, separated, or dharma, religion is the wrong word to use actually. Dharma cannot be separated from the way you live. So everything is interconnected, and because of that, Indian handlooms are as much a part of our culture and of our religious thought as, say, temple sculptures.
That is so fascinating, Shefali ji, and you sort of beautifully summarized, Indian handlooms for us in such a short period of time. And I think thank you so much for sharing all of your insights. I think we've covered a very wide-ranging topics, from the media and the entertainment industry to some of the contemporary developments, to our civilizational heritage, including temples and even handlooms. Thank you so much for joining us at the Festival of Bharat. As always, it is our pleasure to welcome you, and we are so grateful for all your insights that you've just shared with us.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to be on Festival of Bharat, and I look forward to having future interactions as well. And it was really wonderful.
Thank you so much, Shefali ji. And to our viewers, I would like to request you, please do continue to support us, share our videos, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, both our channels, that is the Festival of Bharat and Chitti Media, because we will be uploading content on both of them. Thank you so much for joining us on this conversation. We'll be back so very soon. Until then, take care. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you so much.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.